Hey, let's go. Everybody bring it up right here on me. All right, this is Aram Talegian. Aram on Everything podcast is going. Before we get started, I just want to throw a shout out to all those football programs out there that are waiting till the last second to submit that transfer paperwork to CIF. We see everybody sees you. Good job. Keep it on the down low. Just get it on in there before kickoff. And that's, a week from now? God, what a world. Anyways, I'm starting to think these podcasts are like things I do when just like the bullshit meter builds up too much. The frustration / disgust level builds up so much that I just can't take it anymore. And then boom, we got to do a pod. I'm hoping we can find, other reasons to do it, but that seems to be what it is. So, as of right now, it's August 12th, 2019, and the football season starts, for most teams, week 0, August 23rd. So next week is game week. So that should show you how close we are to everything here. So I guess the reason why, what put this thing over the top is, we just gave you the date. It's August 12th. And guess what August 14th is? That would be the public school media day coming up for Orange County-based high school football teams. This just got announced a little bit today on Twitter. And this will be going down Wednesday, August 14th, like I said, noon at Mission Viejo High School. And the participating teams will be La Habra, Yorba Linda, Los Alamitos, Corona del Mar, Mission Viejo, San Clemente, San Juan Hills, and Tesoro. The question that begs to be asked is why. I mean, we already went through this with the Trinity League. That whole publicity stunt. Not to be outdone, the Mission League had one of its own that despite some nice comments here and there, seemed to be sparsely attended. The actual work or content that came out of it, very, very limited. For me, like a media day, if you go cover it, in order for this media day to have like a meaning, I think you have to subtract that first article that, as a writer, as a sports writer, that you do saying you covered media day. Okay, that gets stricken. Okay, it's all the other content or lack thereof that you got out of that media day that matters to me. And thus far, other than some videos that are very nicely done by Jonathan Camus, I don't know. I'm not seeing it, and I'm wondering what the hell we'll get here less than 10 days or 10 days before the season starts. We're having a media day now for public school teams. And this is an interesting group if you look at it, right? La Habra, Yorba Linda, Los Al, we're going over it again, Corona del Mar, Mission Viejo, San Clemente, San Juan Hills, Tesoro. Several of those teams in direct competition for players. Several of those teams hoping they don't get poached by Trinity League schools, but in direct competition for players, for talent. So this is what this is. I mean, this is like, the answer to the Trinity League. I don't think this has anything to do with the Mission League because it's so far geographically removed, but I think this is like, well, the Trinity League had one. We got to have one, we got to keep up. And so now then the question begs to be asked, well, our Villa Park, where are you? El Toro, Huntington Beach, Edison, where are you? Are you going to now have to do this? Are smaller schools, smaller football schools, besides the ones I just named, even going to have to do this? Isn't this now a rat race? And when are you going to do it? I mean, this one here coming up on the 14th is ridiculous. I mean, who the hell... I mean, I put this on Twitter. I mean, for the sports writers that are going to be attending this, what are you going to get out of that thing that you hadn't already gotten for your football preview, which was written, weeks ago? So again, what what, there's no reason for this other than, hey, let's keep up in the publicity department with these Trinity League schools that oftentimes take our players. In the case of Mission Viejo, they seem to take Santa Margarita's players. But whatever, you get the big picture point. So it just makes no sense. But, if you're a media member and you went to the Trinity League one, I would say that means that you are almost obligated to go to this one, right? Because you don't want to be that guy that, covered, one league or one area, but not the other. So, these guys are now in a bad spot. And again, what content are you going to get out of it besides an article saying, hey, these 10-8 schools held a media day, and they brought such and such players, and whatever. What content are you going to get out of it? There's just nothing to this. I mean, it's just totally ridiculous. And needless to say, it's a trickle down effect from the Trinity League, which is just worthless and detrimental to high school football, as I guess a lot of us knew it. Just totally ridiculous. But hey, here's the thing. So now, like I said, the question is, do smaller schools now say, hey, well, why weren't we involved in this, public school media day at Mission Viejo High School? Maybe we should have one. Maybe we should group up with 4 other teams, or our league should have one. And now the sports writers are pot committed. I mean, you went to one, you got to go to the other one, or else you're biased. So have fun with that. Totally ridiculous. Again, the first games are 10 days away. I don't know. It's just the rat race, just the shape of things right now in SoCal. So wanted to start with that. We're also going to get into this Tate Martell situation with him him not being named the starter at Miami, and now reports are coming out that he was a no-show at practice today after learning the news, and of course how this ties into the whole last chance you culture. Also, a little rumor action, little info about La Mirada's football field. That should be very interesting. And then needless to say, some thoughts on the seasons being near. But we'll now skip into the Tate Martell thing. Needless to say, this blew up Twitter. This guy is, it seems like he's a step away from Last Chance Hugh. I mean, that's really, what it seems like. He's going to be on the next season. I don't know what the hell this guy's doing, but then again, I never have. I mean, you got to remember, at Bishop Gorman, he committed to Washington, then decommitted. Committed to Texas A&M, decommitted. Then text messages or direct messages from him came out with him saying that he could start at Texas A&M easily, and he was, I guess upset about something that developed there, so he ultimately wound up at Ohio State. At Ohio State, he was a backup, then Justin Fields from Georgia transfers in, and then he leaves immediately after that happens, doesn't even want to compete for the job, leaves and goes to Miami, makes a big splash there, and now he doesn't win that competition. They name Jaron Williams, a freshman, the starter, and now this dude, who the hell knows where he is. I mean, maybe he'll stick it out in Miami, but, I wouldn't be betting on that. But the bigger picture here is that this guy, he kind of symbolizes for me, this now me culture that's taken over all levels of football, and it's kind of sad to see because you see this now at the high school level, and I think that's where it starts. If things don't go your way, you immediately, skip town and go somewhere else. Meanwhile, this is all taking place against the backdrop of other high school coaches kissing your ass, trying to pull you out of the program you're in. 7-on-7 coaches trying to direct you to the programs that they're affiliated with. Street agents doing the same thing. Trying to lure, these guys every different place. And the minute they find out one of them is not happy, he becomes victimizable, if that's even a word. And they flood. I mean, they jump in like piranhas, smelling meat in the water or sensing meat in the water. They flood, and these kids, they jump. But like we said on the last podcast we did, the minute you go to a private school, okay, which Tate Martell did, that was Bishop Gorman, the minute you transfer from a public to another public, or for anywhere, the minute you transfer anywhere, either one of those things or both of them, your high school sports career now becomes a business. It's a business, okay? It becomes a business. Not about, learning the lessons that, the sport could teach you and all that stuff. Not about teamwork. It's about you and what you can get out of every situation. And I'm telling you, that's going to set you up for big, big problems down the road later in life. And it could come as soon as, your supposed big-time college career that ends up at Last Chance U. And you see the culture there. I mean, what compels us to watch Last Chance U? Well, I mean, it's the fact that they're a bunch of fuck-ups. And, the coach is a fuck-up too. And if I have to hear from that guy again about how he's from Compton, holy shit, man. I can tell, Coach Brown. I can tell exactly where you're from the minute you open your fucking mouth. So, no need to keep telling me that. But anyways, Last Chance U, I mean, the joke is on you. It is the fact that these kids, like a Malik Henry, and they are still, kids. They're young adults, and that's a time in your life where we all screw up the most. And, you may get a second chance, and then we get to see these guys kind of screw up their second chance. And it just seems like, this is now the culture. I mean, these guys, these football players, they get to, Last Chance U, and they've got a chip on their shoulder, and they're already malcontents. They already feel better than the situation. They're not buying into team. And, you see the results that you get. The minute anything goes wrong, these are not guys you want to be in the foxhole with. The minute anything goes wrong, these guys just disintegrate. And, you see it now happening at the high school level, which is so interesting. I don't know. I guess it used to be a simpler world when these things didn't used to happen until maybe the JUCO or college level. But, if it's starting at the high school level, then it's going to continue on up to the college level. And now, we're seeing the results of it. And it's like I had tweeted earlier today. I mean, this show, as I get a kick out of it just like all of you guys do, but it's jaded me because now I think like literally every college football program, with maybe the exception of Bama or Clemson or, Notre Dame, are programs that are just like, Independence was at the JUCO level, malcontents, divisive, factions on the team, prima donnas, brain dead guys that, literally can't spell their own name and have no chance of matriculating, as far as at the educational level. And naturally, when there's any little sign of adversity, everything breaks down and it's everyone else's fault. And, we see the results here. So I don't know. I mean, this Tate Martell thing, maybe it heads that direction, but I mean, I just saw a lot of parallels, for my own purposes on that. So, this guy, he's a prima donna. So, if he sticks it out at Miami, I'll be shocked. And if he does stick it out at Miami, I mean, is he really the kind of guy you want on the team? The minute the freshman makes a screw up, this guy's standing there shaking his head and telling his other teammates, that he's costing them their season because, the coaches are costing them their season because they played the freshman and not him. Just all kinds of crap. But I guess that is the culture of football players these days, more and more, and it's just sad to see. So we'll see how that situation plays out. Needless to say, that'll get a lot of run in the media and social media the next few days. Now on to La Mirada. saw a lot of vague tweets this weekend about, complaining about the Norwalk La Mirada school district, and kind of wondering why and trying to get it figured out. And then finally, thank goodness, after trying to pry it out of people unsuccessfully, finally a couple birdies flew in the room and told me that I guess La Mirada's football field is 4 years or so out of warranty. It's one of these field turf surfaces, and it's out of warranty. And I guess there might be a lawsuit. I also heard from somebody, like a former girls soccer player there, got an injury, and now the parents are suing the school district. And now it's in question whether the football team's going to be able to play home games in its home stadium. And if they don't, they may have to move to like Excelsior or, somewhere else around there and get this whole thing figured out. So that could be a fiasco coming La Mirada's way. I'm sure that's just exactly what Mike Machete wanted in his first year back. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We'll see. I mean, it's gonna get figured out one way or the other here because the season, is now just, less than 2 weeks away. So, I kind of wondered, though, to myself, are they practicing on it still, though? Because, I mean, if you're practicing on it, then you should be able to, play games on it. But, who knows? I don't know if they are. But that's something interesting. There are lots of things for us to keep our eye on here in the next week or so. There'll be scrimmages this weekend. Those will be interesting if you want to see your local team. You get out there and check it out. If you want to see what the deal is with some transfers on some teams, you can get out there and see that as well. It's kind of like a turning on of the lights, if you will. And I don't mean like the stadium lights. It's kind of like, this is a dark room and you turn on the lights and everybody's got to show what they have. There's no more hiding it anymore if you got 3 guys in or whatever and the paperwork hasn't been submitted yet. I mean, it's all going to come out now, and that ought to be really interesting. So, season's upon us. I have been personally doing some work again for the SGV Tribune and Pasadena Star News, and will be, I guess, for the LA Daily News as well, and hoping to join James and Freddie Robledo, James Escarcega and Freddie Robledo for some coverage this year, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that works out time-wise. Trying to push Freddie for a podcast, so let's see if he can get that done, and we could have some fun that way. And I guess I won't be able to cuss on those, though. That's not good. All right. Anyways, feel free to hit me up, respond to anything. If you want to be one of those birdies that flies into my room, just DM me. The DMs are already open, and have some info to drop on me about something going down somewhere. I love it, and we will certainly talk about it. I will try and do more of these. Again, the last one, God, I can't believe how many people listened to that thing. That was a lot. Hopefully this one does well too, and once the season starts, that's when the bullshit really gets going. And I mean, there's lots to talk about, lots of things that'll blow our minds, I'm sure. Anyways, we could do a win on me, win on 3 if you guys want to. Do you want to? Does everybody want to get ready if you're driving or you're at your desk at work or you're laying in bed or wherever you're listening to this? You want me to give you like a couple seconds to get ready for a little Jason Brown send-off? Jason Brown from Compton. You ready? Okay. You ready? All right. Okay, guys. Win on me, win on 3. 1, 2, 3.